let's begin. So today, we'll probably only do the first page, right? We're continuing on multiplying fractions, but this time the fractions are going to look a little bit more complicated, right? All the fractions that we're multiplying are going to look like this. So they're all mixed fractions, all right? So before we can learn how to do that, we need to learn how to go between mixed and improper fractions, which should be a review from last year, right? So, okay, we'll talk about it now, right? It's not that difficult of a concept. So, at the beginning of this unit, we talked about terminology, and we said that there's two different types of fractions. There are improper fractions that look like this, where the top number is bigger than the bottom number. Then we have our mixed fractions, or proper fractions are like this, where you have a whole number outside, and the top number is smaller than the bottom number. Right? And these two numbers mean the same thing. It's the same value represented in two different ways. For example, here we have 3 circles, and the last one, 3 out of the 4 things are shaded in. This means we have 4 pieces here shaded, 4 pieces here shaded, that's 8. 11 pieces shaded out of 4 for each shape. Right? Or the mixed fraction represents the same thing. We have 2 fully shaded, that's where the 2 comes from, or 3/4 of this one, 3 over 4. So they mean the same thing, right? But we need to be able to go back and forth because it's easier to do some math operations in one format versus the other format. So you need to be able to go back and forth between these two things. These aren't different numbers, they're equivalent numbers, right? Just represented in different ways. Okay, so mainly we're going to go from a mixed fraction to improper fraction, right? And to do this, we do the following steps, all right? Our denominator always stays the same. We started off with a 3, we're going to end with a 3. We need to figure out what the numerator is as an improper fraction. Does anybody remember how to do that from last year? All right, so does anybody remember how to figure out what the numerator is supposed to be? Nicholas?
Wouldn't you bring the 1 into the bottom number, be like the 1 would be a 3?
Okay.
And then you would add the 2 to the 3?
Yeah. So this means we actually have one of these. So we have 3 of these plus 2 more is 5. So the way it goes is you multiply these and you add this. So 1 times 3 is 3 plus 2 gives us 5. That becomes your new numerator. All right? Okay. How about this one? We're going to just go moving over to the right here. Example 1.
4 over 3.
All right. The denominator is 3. What's the numerator?
4.
4. All right. We multiply. 3 times 1 is 3. Add the top. 4 over 3. Okay. Next one. What's the denominator?
47.
Lucas.
47 over 5.
47 over 5. Multiply. 9 times 5 is 45. Add the 2. Gives us 47. Denominator stays the same. Okay, last one. What's the denominator? Logan?
22.
Oh, that's the top number. Numerator, right? So 7 times 3 is 21. Add the top, gives us 22 over 7. Okay. So pretty straightforward. You multiply, then add, that gives you the top number. Yes, Junior? Can you wait till we've got a couple more minutes? Yes, Henry?
Sorry, how did you get 7?
The bottom number, denominator, doesn't change. It started off as 7, ends as 7.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that makes sense.
Starts at 5, ends at 5. All right?
That's easy.
That doesn't change. Now, going in the reverse direction is a little trickier. You have an improper fraction, you want to write it as a proper fraction. So we're going in the backwards order. Once again, the denominator stays the same. We need to figure out what number goes out here.
So it's 2 and then 3 over 5.
How do you get the 2?
5 times 2 is 10.
Yeah.
With the 3.
So we go, how many times can 5 go into 13? 2 times fully, because that's 5 times 2 is 10. Then what's left over
3.
is 3, because the difference between 10 and 13 is 3. All right. All right, next one. Scrolling over. The denominator doesn't change. Stays, was a 5, stays at a 5. Yes, Junior? 2 and 2. Thank you. 2 out front. 5 goes into 12 twice. 5 times 2 is 10. Then the difference between 10 and 12 is a 2. We need 2 more extra. So 2 and 2/5. Okay, next one. The 10 stays the same. How many times does 10 go into 32?
Oh, 3 times.
Thank you, Mason. 3 times. Okay, now Mason, what's left over? So 10 goes into 3 times 30, and we have 2 left over to get to 32. There we go. Last one. Denominator goes into 7 times. So goes into 4?
4.
What's left over?
Nothing.
Nothing. So we don't have to go 0 over 7, right? The 0 divided by anything stays as 0, so this is just 4. 7 goes into 28 4 full times. There's nothing left over. All right? So we'll stop right there. We got like another 4 or 5 minutes before the bell goes. And next day we'll look at how do we multiply mixed fractions. Now you may go.